Breakfast, the most important meal of the day. In high school, I took the SAT 3 times. I walked in that test thinking I was the smartest person in the entire world. Took the test, got my results back, trash. Of course, it didn't help that I stayed up late the night before playing video games and I didn't study. So I took it a second time, still trash. Again, stayed up late playing video games and I didn't study. But the third time, I still stayed up late playing video games and I didn't study. But the one thing that I did do differently, I ate breakfast. And I went in that test and I crushed it, confirming what scientists have been telling us for years, that I am the smartest wait, no, that's not it. That breakfast is really important. Today's Board Choices is dedicated to the meal that we often skip, breakfast. I'm giving you two options here. One that you can sit down for a few minutes and enjoy, and the other one you can prep for the entire week. It is your choice, but no longer do you have to skip breakfast. When it comes to the first meal of the day, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We just need to know how much of what we're consuming. If you're someone who has a few minutes in the morning to sit down and eat, this first one is quick and easy, and you've probably seen this all over the place, especially in New York. Bagel and lox. We'll take half a whole wheat bagel and toast it to your liking. Remember, that whole wheat is going to help control hunger cravings and give you the necessary carbs to be sharp and focused. Next, we'll slather on 2 tablespoons of whipped cream cheese. I said 2 tablespoons, not that. Be honest with yourself and wipe off that extra. Excess is how we got here, remember that. Next, we'll lay down 2 ounces of smoked lox, which is just salmon if you've never heard of it. Food scale again will come in handy here. I remember the first time I weighed my cereal portion and discovered I was eating like 3 times the serving amount, and when I finally did start doing the proper amount of cereal, I was actually still satisfied. Lastly, we'll throw a slice of tomato on to fulfill our fruit needs. Honestly, this is one of my favorite breakfast items that takes only like 3 minutes to make and 5 minutes to eat. This will run you 344 calories with 12 grams of protein, 41 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of fat. But let's say you just don't have time in the mornings for anything. Barely got time to brush your teeth. Well, here's a way to meal prep breakfast for the entire week. I've got 1.5 pounds of baby red potatoes that I'm going to wash and then quarter up. Next, I've got 1 green bell pepper that I'll dice up nicely, and then 1 white onion finely diced. Using just 2 capfuls of olive oil, I'll drizzle it on along with some seasonings. I've got an all-purpose seasoning from Cattleman's Grill, but you can use any that you like. Give it a good mixing and then spread your potatoes on a piece of parchment paper on a baking sheet, and into a 400-degree oven it goes. Next, I've got 15 eggs. Break them open and drop them into a bowl. Again, adding some all-purpose seasoning and then giving them a good whisking. I've got a small baking dish here that I'll spray with some cooking oil and then pour my egg mixture into it. At this point, you'll be wishing you could add some butter and cheddar cheese into the mixture, but resist. Into the oven they go, still at 400 degrees. The eggs will cook a lot faster than the potatoes, probably about 15 minutes, while the potatoes will need to go until they are fork tender, which could be anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. Different ovens have given me different times, even when they're set to the same temperature, so you may need to just keep a close eye and time it the first time you make this, and then from there you'll know. I've got some smoked turkey sausage here that I'll slice up, nothing fancy. Throw it into a pan with 1 capful of olive oil and cook until it's nice and crispy. Our eggs are done, so I'll take a fork and give it a little scrambling. I'll usually jiggle the baking dish in the oven, and if it doesn't jiggle anymore, I'll know the eggs are done. Takes a few tries to get it right, but hey, it's just eggs, still delicious. Now I'm gonna weigh out my portions. I'm looking for 148 grams of scrambled eggs. To that, I'll add 1 ounce of low-fat feta cheese. This is gonna help bring some flavor to those eggs without the unhealthiness of like a cheddar. 4 ounces of our potatoes, 2 ounces of sausage to finish the dish, and this should be enough to fill up 5 containers. In all, this will be 494 calories with 35 grams of protein, 32 grams of carbs, and 24 grams of fat. Whenever I prep this for my breakfast, I try to make sure the rest of my meals for the day are low fat, because obviously 24 grams is not ideal. If you're watching your cholesterol, you may want to swap out some of the eggs with egg whites, and that will also take your fat lower. But keep a few yolks in just for flavor, and that's it. A simple approach to the most important meal of the day. Please don't skip breakfast. It honestly is one of the most important tools in dieting and having the right mindset and the right exercise routine and all that stuff. It is your foundation, and you always want to start it out right. So avoid the donuts and just stay clean.